Hello, my name is Jerry Beal, and I'm now 71 years old, and I have had one hell of a life, in which, however, the last 20 years have been just wonderful years for me because I have become basically enlightened. And you'll learn what becoming basically enlightened is, and when you learn what it is, you'll understand. You would too apply that term, basic enlightenment. Okay, it was Lao Tzu, 600 BC, who said, if you correct your mind, the rest of your life will fall into place. Then it was Epictetus, 101 AD, a Greek-turned-Roman Stoic philosopher who was very popular in his day, by the way, who told us what the mind correction is when he said, people's minds are not disturbed by events, but by their own problematic judgments on events. My statement, that is Jerry Beal's statement, is we're a cause-life entity, only pretending the roles of effect. When a person corrects his or her mind, we find that what happens in the world has nothing to do with the way we humans experience our feelings or how we experience our lives. And twice more, when a person corrects his or her mind, we find that what happens in the world has nothing to do with the way we humans experience our feelings or how we experience our lives. Again, when the person corrects his or her mind, we find that what happens in the world has nothing at all to do with the way we humans experience our feelings or how we experience our lives. And if you want to bet $1,000, I'll bet you $1,000 on that statement. I'd love to have that chance. I mean, it's not that I'm challenging you, it's just that I am so sure of what I'm talking about here because I've been at this for over 25 passionate years. I'm truthfully saying that when the care and keeping of bodies is not the issue, when that's not the issue, there's no such thing as better or worse people. There's no such thing as better or worse conditions, and there is no such thing as better or worse events. That's all a game of pretenses, and don't think I can't prove that out with facts and truth. But at least 95% of our entire human family believes, that's at least 95%, it's probably high, much higher than that, at least 95% of a few strictly raised Buddhists and an even way fewer students of A Course in Miracles and some others, at least, but other than that, at least 95% of our entire human family believes and just lazily takes it that what happens in the world has plenty to do with the way we humans experience our feelings and our lives. So, when we put the word therefore after each of those incredibly different mind contexts, we come out with two completely different ways to deal with our sense of selves and our sense of others and our sense of the conditions and the events. Two completely different ways to do that. Thus, what happens in the world has plenty to do with the way we experience our feelings and our lives. And then we add the word therefore. What we then think we need to do is manipulate, both passively and aggressively from time to time, in order for us to be involved with better conditions so we can have better feelings and better experiences and thus a better life, with almost nobody realizing what a bullshit game of pretenses our social world really is. And I'm telling you as a matter of fact and truth that there's at least a 95% chance that you are so deeply programmed in all those lies, you are so deeply programmed in the mindset of this makes me happy and that makes me upset, that only a series of miracles, as my main mentor, A Course in Miracles, defines a miracle, can save you from the lies that are so deeply and falsely programmed within your mind and psyche. That's appropriately called wrong-minded thinking. In other words, the world is affecting us. And I'll tell you right now, whether it's both our social problem and our religious problem. It's attachment to the world. A false attachment to the world is our one and only real problem that we have. A false attachment to the material world, because the material world is not affecting us. We're creating the material world, and I'd better not go into that right now. You can read it more in the I don't know how we create the material world. It's our social world that I know that we create. When and after we correct our mind, we can begin using right-minded thinking as in correct-minded thinking. So then, when the word therefore comes up, after that word, that therefore is, therefore we become aware that our social world is being played out as a passive and aggressive manipulating game of pretenses, and it's damned way past damn time. All that bullshit ended, or at least begins to come to an end. Our precious children and next generations well more than deserve to not be lied to any more about what the hell is causing what when it comes to human feelings, human experiences, human behavior, and even human decision-making. They're presently being lied to about all those very important human effects, which makes it nearly impossible to even question the reality of a problem. You know, they don't know how to be on purpose in their lives with their own feelings, our precious children, because we didn't either, and we don't know how to do it now. To be on purpose with our feelings, our experiences, and our behavior, learning to be on purpose with our behavior and our decision-making. And so it makes it nearly impossible to even question the reality of a problem. This website expands out on what you've just heard. None of this is your fault. I want to stress that. None of this is your fault. But it is the fault of traditionally educated clinical psychologists. They are directly responsible for all this horrible ignorance that's going on planet Earth in 3 dimensions. You know, but the sad part about them, where they can claim that it's not their fault either, is that they have assimilated traditional information for the purpose of passing traditional tests to get traditionally graded and sent out and entitled in a very traditional world. A world where we've had to endure at least 3,000 wars in our known 5,000-year history, and certainly with no end in sight. The last century is the bloodiest of all centuries, with not one single year going by when we weren't fighting some damnable war. And it just keeps going on and on and on. With all the thing, it doesn't matter when you tune in. Somebody is fighting a damned war, and nobody knows what now. Nobody knows what to do about it. And I can't get a damned one of these psychologists to give me any kind of back and forth with the ideas you'll read and listen to on this website. And so I'm going to have to force the issue by serving them with some kind of a warrant to appear, so that they can get so we can have some kind of a discussion with this sane thinking. So again, what happens in the world affects our feelings and our lives is wrong-minded thinking, as in incorrect-minded thinking, and what happens in the world has nothing to do with the way we experience our feelings or our lives is right-minded thinking, as in correct-minded thinking. And right-minded thinking, in the natural course of extending it in our mind, will cause a heaven on earth without us doing anything other than to stop lying and start living the truth. I'll also warn you that correcting your mind is a required course. When I first heard that, I was like, what are you telling me? It's a required course. But now I know very well that it is a required course. You and everyone will eventually correct your mind, and only time is the variable. Only time is the variable. So whether you correct your mind while embodied as you are now, or whether you cycle in 100 more lifetimes, you'll eventually correct your mind. It's like playing a game, and we will not stop playing a game so that we can go on about our actual life. That's what's happening. This is all bullshit game playing. I am my body and the world is affecting me, therefore. I am my body, the world is affecting me, therefore. That's our mindset. And that's a stupid and horrible game that's going on. And in the meantime, and because all minds are joined, myself and others who become basically enlightened by learning the truth here, have to wait for your sorry asses to finally wake up and decide to use truth to expose the illusions within your life, within this very frantic social world we're trying to endure. I'm no Buddha, and I'm no Jesus, but after 25 passionate years, I have the same message they taught, the message of regaining your own free mind, for nothing even comes close as something I treasure above all else than enjoying and living in my own free mind as I have progressively in the last 20 years. There's a statement in the New Testament that says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Nobody knows that more than I do. On the one hand, I have endured one hell of a shitty life to come to the truth. You can read about it or listen to about it on this website. I have had one hell of a shitty life. There was a mountain of fear and trembling I had to go through to finally find the truth and allow the truth to set me free. So I'm asking you, pleading with you, please learn from all the so-called mistakes I made so you won't have to endure what I had to endure to find and love the truth enough to free your mind. And by the way, please understand, I'm not in the religious category, not one iota. I'm in the human truth category. And so thank you for visiting and learning from my website.